Recently leaving the world of law enforcement and going back to podcasting, an interview on the Dan Bongino Show with Dan Bongino, President Donald Trump said that Republicans ought to, quote, nationalize the voting. In his mind, meaning that the party should take over election administration in multiple jurisdictions rather than leaving it solely to the states as the Constitution intended. Trump did not spell out specific legal mechanisms or name any states in mind, as he tends to not do, but he suggested that this would be necessary to fight what he continues to characterize as widespread election fraud, claims that have been repeatedly rejected by courts and election officials. No matter what other people say is not there, Trump says it's there, and he keeps pushing to fight for the fight. To fight. The Trump remarks were tied to his belief, which of course has no credible evidence, that the illegal immigrants and crooked states have undermined Republican election prospects. He said Republicans should take over the voting in at least 15 places. That was a quote that's because he talks crazy, is all kind of crazy. Another quote is that to argue that they don't, Republicans will, quote, never win another election. Like never, unquote. Trump's proposal rejects any ongoing frustration, or actually reflects the ongoing frustration over losses in Democratic-leaning states when even his fraud claims have been shown to be not substantiated. Basically, they're made up. They don't make sense. It's ridiculous to keep doing it, but he keeps saying they're losing because of fraud, and people keep pushing those narratives for whatever reason. Legal scholars and political leaders immediately push back, saying the U.S. Constitution grants state authorities primary responsibility for administrating elections, subject to limited federal statutes. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer called Trump's idea, quote, outlandishly illegal, unquote, and said Democrats would oppose any modern federal takeover or election administration to make this thing change. State officials, including some Republicans, have also reaffirmed that election control is mostly state power and should probably stay that way. Should probably stay that way. Trump did not offer any specific plans on how nationalizing elections would work. I'm sure Stephen Miller has something on a napkin someplace back there. But in practice, he believes that his remarks came amid the broader GOP efforts to influence election laws, which is what he thinks should happen. Proposed bills requiring stricter voter ID, proof of citizenship, things like that, to make things tougher on elections, tougher for people to basically vote. However, federal takeover of elections would face substantial constitutional and political hurdles, and courts have previously blocked parts of Trump's aligned federal election actions. At some point in time, the state folks will be like, dude, this is my job, back the hell off, and Trump will have to go away, assuming that he is going to go away. The episode here intensifies the long-running debate over federal involvement in election administrations. Supporters of Trump's broader push argue for uniform standards in addressing perceived vulnerabilities. Critics warn that federal control, especially directed along partisan lines, could undermine trust and constitutional balance, diminishing confidence in democratic process rather than making it stronger for all of us. In the meantime, the thought process of nationalizing election, or Trump's call for it, proposed that the argument is uniform federal standards for all of us, U.S., across the states, and could reduce administrative bipartisanship and any disparities in various places. If everybody's doing the exact same way, someone can just ask someone a question how to fix something and go from there. States having their own different ways addressing concerns have security issues, consistency issues, integrity issues of voting process, possible integrity issues in the voting process. The problem is the pesky Constitution and the scholars and many lawmakers that say the idea basically says it don't work that way. The Constitution's assessment of elections and the assignment to the state administrators is what it's all about. A federal takeover could erode trust in elections, which is what Trump says he's trying to fight, concentrate power at the federal level, which is what Trump is obviously trying to do, and set a precedent that will weaken state authority and decentralization, a key feature of U.S. democracy. That's how it works. We have 50 states that basically make up their own minds and then come together in Congress to kind of make them work. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it keeps us from being those other places for now. Additionally, framing the proposal around unproven claims of fraud undermines the credibility that could actually deepen political polarization. The last two elections, as far as we know, as far as we can tell, were called the most clearest, cleanest elections like ever, period. Trump won one, Trump lost one. Because of one of them, we have a January 6th issue. Because of another one where he won, we got Trump given a chance to basically pardon himself and get out of all the bad things he did that he was basically on track for. I'm not sure exactly where this is going. Well, that's a lie. I know exactly where this is going. But I'm not sure exactly why he's playing it this way and what's going forward. Is this an actual, some sort of dystopian movie period where we will have Donald Trump become the new president for life of the United States and we can't do anything about it except for a ragtag band of freedom fighters trying to take back our country? I don't know. At this point, I really don't understand where all this is coming from. If you do, please explain it to me.